Hey guys, and welcome to another Age of Empires 2 ranked audio commentary. In this commentary today, I have a 1 versus 1 Nomad game that I played yesterday. And going into the game, both players had mutual random enabled, and that meant that even though I had Italians pre-selected, I ended up with the Celts civilization, and my opponent randomed into Vietnamese. So Celts are not a civilization that you think of when you're thinking nomad civs, because Celts are an infantry and siege civilization, and Nomad is a map that kind of favors unique unit civs and civs that have good bonuses for water and I guess economy as well. But Celts actually do have a bonus that helps out here, and that's their 15% wood chopping that they get from the start of the game. Lumberjacks work 15% faster. Now, this actually means that Celts have one of the best fishing economies in the early game on Nomad, and that means they can get quite a lot of fishing ships out early compared to some other civilizations. Now, they're not the best civ at this. There are definitely civilizations that have better Dark Age economy. Persians probably being the best, Malians being in there, Lithuanians, Mayans are actually very good early game, and Incas as well. And there's a few other civilizations that have some bonuses there. Two Italians is one of them too, which is the civ that I'd actually pre-selected. Now, my opponent is playing as the magenta Vietnamese. Now, Vietnamese are a very good nomad civilization. They're probably not a top civilization. They're also probably better in nomad team games, but they're still very good on nomad. However, Vietnamese have a completely generic Dark Age. They don't get any bonuses in Dark Age apart from when my town centre is built. The Vietnamese opponent will know where I've TC, which is actually quite handy to know on Nomad. And their economy starts to get going once they hit Castle Age, because that's when they can take good advantage of their eco bonus, which is economic upgrades. Sorry if I go to Vietnamese here. Economic upgrades, cost no wood, and research 100% faster. Now that is really handy once you get to Castle Age on Nomad, because it means you can afford double bid axe if you haven't already picked it up. You can probably afford to squeeze in horse collar. It's very easy to get bowsaw, wheelbarrow researches very quickly, and you can also, if you win water, you can get gill nets for 150 food only, and it costs no wood, and you can expand your fishing economy very efficiently. So going into the matchup, I said, Vietnamese. Now in Castle Age, Vietnamese have a ranged unique unit, which is can be quite. It's not as strong early on as say plumed archers or conquistadors or what are some other units that could be annoying? War wagons, hussite wagons, etc. Janissaries. It's not in that level of annoying, but once they get some upgrades in, and particularly in Imperial Age, if they can get to elite Raiden archers, they're a very, very strong late game unit. Vietnamese also have bombard cannons as well, and they've got a cavalry archers that they could also choose to play in the mid game, which are all good options against what Celts can make, which is infantry and siege usually. I mean, Celts can make paladins, but you probably wouldn't do that, particularly against Vietnamese, who have pretty good halberdiers, and their monks are okay as well. So, looking at the spawns, if I turn my fog of war on, I've got two villages that have spawned relatively close together on the northwest side of the map, and then I've got a villager that spawned on the shore over on the, I guess, the northeast side of the map. Pretty optimal spawns, and I'm going to press play. So I can already see at one deer patch near the shoreline, my villager here has encountered a gold pile. I picked up sheep straight away, and I'm going to build a TC on this wood line, and look at that, there's a stone right there. So already, it's pretty much almost a perfect start. Town centre gets started early, found a gold straight away, found a sheep straight away, and a mineral resource next to the wood line. And then a boar. I found a boar within 45 seconds. This is a golden start as far as things go. And again, my villager that was on the shoreline barely had to walk anywhere to get a dock up, so I'm going to be getting onto food very quickly. Now I'm going to go into the view lock. Now I'm scouting my sheep in a circular area around the my already explored vision, And because I can already see one boar, I'm not sure if you guys knew this if you're watching the video, but on Nomad, boars spawn in a triangle. So often when you find one boar, you can kind of guess where the other boars are going to be based on the edge of the proximity of the boar you find to the edge of the map, and boom, there's the second boar. So that is now one part or one axis of the triangle of boars that I found. So based on that straight line, the third boar, it either has to be to the left of the wood line that I'm currently exploring, or it'll be somewhere towards the middle of the map. But the boar triangles usually spawn in proximity to the shoreline. So where my sheep is scouting is probably where the third boar is going to be. And then 3 boars on Nomad is a very, very good start. I mean, sometimes you'll get 4. That's like incredible. But so I've just noticed that I haven't scouted the shoreline to the left of the wood line that I'm currently gathering from, and I've got a pretty good idea that at least I'm hoping that's where the third boar is, because if that's the case, like I've already found pretty much all the food that I need to get to Castle Age. So I'm bringing in, once I've got 3 villagers on wood, I'm sending out my 4th villager to collect the boar, and then that's going to mean that I've got my first fishing ship in queue. My villagers are going to be able to start working on the boar quite efficiently. The lure was a bit strange, so I've wasted a little bit of villager work time here, and I'm going to queue 4 villagers on food under the TC because the boar came in a little bit late. If it came in a little bit earlier, you could probably get away with 3 villagers, and I'm going to make a house before the 9th population comes in, so I don't have any idle TC, and I am able to avoid any idle TC early on. However, my fishing ship hasn't been gathering efficiently straight away, but that's okay. And then I did end up finding the third boar, so I found pretty much, because I can see 2 hunt patches and 3 boars, like that is enough food for Castle Age already. Particularly if I can find myself a berry patch. So that's probably the only thing that I'm missing at this stage. And I have a feeling I might have just seen one to the south of where my screen is currently. So I'm force dropping the food and I'm getting out my 2nd fishing ship. So you need 6 on wood to constantly create fishing ships. However, with Celts, it's probably 5 vills to be able to constantly make it. So even though like the way that I do my Dark Age in the early game, I don't have constantly 6 on wood until a little bit later on in Dark Age. Because I'm Celts, I can almost constantly make fishing ships. And it's not going to be that long until the 3rd fishing ship comes out. And so here I should be queuing up at fishing ship number 3. And there we go. And now I'm going to be bringing in my 2nd boar, force dropping again. So currently I haven't had any idle TC, which is really good. And the timing on this boar lure is just going to be a little bit late, or maybe it'll be just about right, because I've only got 4 on boar under the TC. And so now I have to either build another fishing ship or build a house. I've gone for the next fishing ship, garrisoning my TC with some wood villagers to shoot the boar down, and that boar is not, the lure is not going to be perfect, and that villager almost died, so I'm going to send that to wood. And then I need to build a house as soon as possible here, otherwise I'm going to get housed. So I'm going to send 2 villagers out to finish that house. So I actually decided against that, but I think that was a mistake, because I think I am going to get housed here, but I'm not getting housed on a villager, I'm getting housed on a fishing ship. So then I end up sending the villager out to the house. So that's probably the only inefficiency that I've had in my economy so far. Other than that, it's been 96, 97% perfect already. And I know that there was a third boar over there. So I'm going to go and pull in that boar a little bit earlier. And I've also found a 2nd deep fish with my fishing ships. And then my shorefish villager is running out, so I need to move her further along the shoreline. So I found the boar, and now I've found a berry patch as well. I'm going for the 2nd building as the mining camp, because I didn't see the berries until after I needed to build the building. I'm going to have that villager build another house. There we go. I've currently got villagers on 2 boars. Because I've got 2 boars coming in at once, I just get housed for a little bit here. It might be 6-7 seconds. And I need to go and find another dock spot. I'm going to make another house there with that villager. And I'm getting in loomed. I'm not quite going to have enough food to go up to feudal age on 19 villagers. So I'm going to get 1 more go up on 20 villagers. And then I haven't yet decided my strategy. And then, so I actually use my sheep to scout the map. And I've actually found where my opponent's TC spot is. And then I've got 2 villages on gold. I'm going to be needing to send a third one over there to get 3 on gold. And that should be enough to get the gold in for Castle Age. And then I'm going to go and send a villager over to build a mill as well, because I need the mill as a prerequisite for a market. I think I've got 7 fishing ships currently, which is actually quite a lot for this stage of the game. And now I've found another shorefish. I'm going to make a dock there. And then once the boar is out, I need to start bringing in some more food as well. And then luckily there is a hunt patch right next to the berries. So the most efficient way to bring in food is to probably put villagers on hunt, because that collects faster than the berries. And so I'm going to send a patch of 4 villagers over to hunt, and there's a deep fish right next to that dock, which is super efficient. So I've had amazing luck in this game so far, absolutely amazing luck. Like, everything is going right for me. I've got a lot of villagers on wood. I'm getting close to the amount of wood that I need to go up to Castle Age. So I've kind of deciding I'm in a good position to do a fast castle here rather than do something like contest water, because I've got really good food income. My wood economy is looking good, and I'm going to have enough gold. So I'm going to send an extra 4 villagers onto one of the deer to try and get a good Castle Age time. So I'm queuing up an extra fishing ship because I know that when I reach... it was maybe a little bit ambitious, but I think it just meant that I didn't quite have enough enough wood to make a market in blacksmith immediately. I just had to bring in a little bit of extra wood. It's delayed my market just a little bit, but I'm going to be building up my market now. But it does mean that I'm just going to have that little bit of extra food income as going into Castle Age. So I think it was worth it, and I've queued 2 villages from the TC after reaching Feudal Age, and I have to go for Town Watch. Probably could have gone for an extra villager, but I think Town Watch is 100% worth it here. Here I'm going to force drop my food. So I'm force dropping from the fishing ships. I'm force dropping from one set of villagers. I've got the resources for Castle Age. I just need to wait till the market goes up. So there's maybe 10 seconds of idle TC, and I've clicked up. And then I looked at the clock, and it's 13 minutes 30 something. I'm like, what the hell? So on Nomad, a lot of the time I will go for a castle as my Castle Age opening, and a lot of the time it's a defensive castle to allow me to set up economy behind the first castle. So I'm microing my fishing ships over to find another deep fish, and now I am going to think about what I'm going to do. So at this stage, I haven't looked at what my opponent's doing, or like where my opponent's TC is. I'm focusing on setting up my economy. I've gotten in the stone mining upgrade. I've sent 10 villagers onto stone. I'm getting in the double beard axe upgrade. I'm making sure that I've got a few visible deep fish so that my fish can keep working. I've got 8 villagers on wood, which is kind of equivalent to 9 villagers on wood with Celts. So my wood economy, it's not great, but it's still pretty good. I'm going to have the resources to make a castle, and then I've just spotted with the sheep that there's a stone close to my my opponent's TC. So I'm going to go and make an outpost on that stone, and that will help me decide... It'll give me some information about what my opponent's doing, because currently I don't know what my opponent is, like what his strategy is, and I want to find out if he's on stone, because Vietnamese are a civilization that you will want to get a castle up with and get some rattan archers out. So there we go, my opponent's revealed his strategy. He's got 4 fire ships. That means he's committing to feudal water, and that means he's going to have nothing at home. So now, because of my incredibly quick castle time, like this is the best castle time that I have ever done in a ranked Nomad game, in team game at 1v1 by 41 seconds. So I'm going to, because my opponent has chosen to go water, it means he's going to be completely open. I'm going to go for the forward castle drop, even though it's across the other side of the map. So this is funny. I've accidentally started building the castle with that villager. So my opponent's noticed a bit before I wanted him to that I'm castle dropping in. So I just want to make sure that the castle doesn't get denied by vill fighting. So we're going to go and block off that passage to the castle. Now my opponent has probably noticed that I'm not building the castle, so he's come in and tried to attack it with villagers. My villagers from my TC arrived there just in time, and I'm house falling off all the gaps, so he's got no chance of denying it. However, I'm losing all my fishing ships, so my food economy at the moment is terrible. I'm pretty sure I just bought 100 food, and then I'm getting in horse collar, because I probably didn't need to do that, but I was like, I'd rather have horse collar farms than not have them, particularly if the game goes a bit longer. So getting that upgrade in, and now I've got 11 villagers forward, actually 12 villagers forward that I don't really have a job for. So I'm going to send them to stone, because what I can do, the most optimal play from here is probably just to make another castle. I've got the stone mining upgrade, I've got a lot of villages there. I just need the wood to be able to build a stone mining camp so that they can drop off the stone. And as you can see on the mini-map, some villagers are already walking back home. So now I think I'm possibly even bought the wood there, I can't remember 100%. And I'm making a mining camp, and I've had a little bit of idle TC just because I don't have the food economy. I've got a berries patch that I could take, but I'm just building farms under my TC. I'm using my dock villager to scout. I found that my opponent is on stone. He's just arrived to Castle Edge about 3 minutes slower than me, which is quite a big difference. However, he's going to have more villagers working than me. So now I need to get some Woad Raiders out of the castle because that's the only aggressive option that I have. And even though Woad Raiders aren't a typical unique unit that you think of when you think about Nomad, they are actually pretty good, and they got buffed last year. They got some extra attack, and I think they possibly even got an extra 5 HP. So they're actually a pretty strong Castle Age unit as far as... they might even be one of the best infantry Castle Age units at the moment in the game. In terms of... particularly, like, they're excellent at killing villagers because they increase the attack from... I think it was 10 to 11, they kill villagers in 4 hits, which is better than a knight. So again, I've only got 8 farms. I'm not constantly able to produce villagers, and I need to get some more Woad Raiders out because I need to pressure my opponent's economy because I don't want him to be able to come back with the ability to, you know, build multiple TCs or get some military units out. So I've killed a couple of villagers. I can see that he's moved his economy to the south, and he's going to have access to gold and access to stone. What my plan is, I'm going to castle drop his new TC because I've got 13, pretty much half of my economy is on stone at the moment, and I'm going to be able to do it. It's just a matter of whether I can get it up. So at the moment, I'm not seeing any military from him. I'm building another outpost. I can see that he's got a stable, and he's got villages that are safe on gold. So he's going to be making some knights to try and push me back. And here I've got got some idle TC. I'm choosing to make Woad Raiders instead of villagers at this stage. The first knight has now come out. 3 Woad Raiders will beat a knight though, so he has to go back there. And what I probably should have done here is deleted the house between that gap, because now my villagers are walking the long way round to build the castle. And I ended up getting the bow saw upgrade. I probably didn't need to get that actually, because I think it probably wasn't worth it. And I'm getting in a second town center just in case the game ends up going a bit later and, for instance, this push fails. So I've got 4 Woad Raiders. My villagers are not building the castle in the best position, and I've lost a couple of villages there, so I need to micro the villages back to the side. Again, the opponent's coming in with knights, and I need to move villages again. But I've got 4 Woad Raiders. Now it's 3 knights against 4 Woad Raiders, but there's only 1 tile of space, and I'm able to take a very efficient fight and take down one of the knights. Again, I'm not probably doing the best job with the micro. I probably could have done some quick walling there. But the knights are trying to focus down the vills, and that's giving my Woad Raiders a chance to take out the knights. And even though I'm losing a couple of villages, that castle's going up. And then my opponent says FF, which was probably meant to be GG, and he's exited the game. So this is the best ever that I have done in a ranked game in Nomad, Dark Age and Feudal Age economy. I think a lot of that is due to luck, but I also have practiced the Nomad economy a lot in the past. So every time there's a new patch with balance changes, particularly economy changes, I practice starts with civilizations on Nomad and sometimes Arena, and often if there's another map in the pool that I'm interested in playing, I might do it as well. But usually it's like I'll play Nomad, African Clearing, and Arena starts to test economy changes to civilizations. And a lot of the time I'll just run through different civs. I just play against like hard AI, which is pretty easy to beat. Like it doesn't give much resistance, just to see how the civ feels. I've definitely played Celts a few times before, and I can't remember, like sometimes in practice I've ended up getting 15-minute castle times with civilizations that have no eco bonus, but a lot of that is just because there's no pressure. Like I know what the AI is going to do, and I get a good map with, like, you know, 3 or 4 boars, some close deer to the TC, etc., etc. So this one, like my opponent had an awful TC spot. Like this TC is not close to any mineral resources. That's his closest gold. His stone. Oh, so what I think my opponent should have done is I think he should have gone to stone instead of going to gold, and then sold the stone for gold to get up to Castle Age. But because he went to gold and tried to go water, because I guess it's a good. It's a good. So because Celts have a wood bonus, you're going to assume that they're going to have a lot of fishing ships. So I think I can see the reasoning behind going fast feudal into fire galleys here. And my opponent would have no idea that I was going to have such a good castle time. But again, like I had the perfect map, perfect TC spot. There was everything that could have gone right went right for me in the early game, and that resulted in an incredible castle time. And then my Castle Age execution was, it was okay, but it was enough. Again, I made some mistakes, particularly with this second castle drop, and I probably could have not gotten Bowsaw and maybe sent some villagers to the berries over here and kept my TCs, like maybe, done a better job with my eco balance in early Castle Age, because it is possible that a better player would have been able to repel my early pressure here. And there were a few times where my Road Raiders ran under my opponent's TC and he could have just garrisoned the TC and killed all of them, and then the game would still be going. But my opponent didn't do that. And I also was interested, so a lot of the time when I beat a player on Nomad, I looked at their profile up on AoE2 Insights to see what kind of player they are. Now, this particular player, he is a player that plays probably not Nomad every game, if possible, like me, but he plays Nomad quite often. I watched a couple of his Nomad games, and for instance, in one of his Nomad games before this one, he got a 17-20 castle time with Mayans and destroyed his opponent in the same time that I did. So I think a lot of the reason why he didn't have a similar game in this is just because of the bad TC spot and a poor choice of strategy. But with reversed roles, with his TC here and my TC here, I might have lost this game, because Nomad is just one of those maps where there's a lot of randomness to what kind of TC spot you're going to get at the start. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I've got another video that I need to re-record. So one of the things I actually did was I've put a limiter on my microphone in OBS so it doesn't clip. So hopefully the microphone audio is a little bit better. And then I did have another replay that I wanted to upload, but I need to re-record it because there was a lot of clipping and I wasn't able to fix it with post-production. All right, that's all for this one. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you look forward to the next video.